Hi there, it's me Audrina here with the next chapter from my debut novel Where Did Your Heart Go? Don't forget, first book in the Heart trilogy, and we're in the final 10 chapters now, so we're on chapter 61. In her room, Charlie found her iPod and looked for Justin Timberlake in the track. Sitting next to Mitch on the bed, they listened together. As they did, Mitch talked her through what he was planning. Repeating the track, Mitch stood up and started to show her the steps and general feel of the piece he was working on. By the third run-through, Charlie had joined him as they started to work together on both the moves and the feel of the dance, becoming emotionally connected to the music. They would have continued, except Mitch paused at the end of the track and turned to her. "Let's have a look in your wardrobe and see if you already have the clothes I need." Charlie crossed the room in front of Mitch and opened the doors wide for him, standing back. He pulled out a couple of different dresses, including the one she'd worn in London. "Shall I try them on for you?" Charlie asked. "Yes, please. I'll know it when I see it," Mitch said, lounging back on the bed and keeping the track on repeat. "Which one first?" Charlie asked, looking at the 4 dresses he'd chosen. "I think the red one first, then the lilac, then the white, and finally the one you wore last weekend." Charlotte shrugged her sundress off to reveal a set of plain white underwear. The recent sunshine had given her skin a pale tan. She pulled her red dress on and pranced up and down the room like a model, twirling in front of him. He reached out and pulled her close. Shaking his head, he slipped the straps down and the material slithered to the floor. "Next one, please," he said. Turning away, she slid the next dress over her body. This whole scenario was slowly turning her on. As the lilac dress only had one strap, she removed her bra to avoid spoiling the effect. She watched him reflected in her mirror. Once again she paraded up and down in front of him before he pulled her close. "Still not quite right," Mitch murmured, and he gently eased it off her body, this time his fingers lingering long enough on her skin to take in a passing glance across her nearest nipple. Pushing her away again, she turned to try on the white dress, which was one of her favourites. Once again she put on a show for him until he beckoned her closer. "No," he said, shaking his head but grinning. "I do like it, though." He turned her around and undid the zip down the back, and it fell to her feet. As he did this, his fingers slid down her spine and over her arse, lighting up even more of her nerve endings. Her skin now had a rosy tint to it as the burning flames of desire ignited. She slowly pulled on her floral dress and turned around to find Mitch standing right there in front of her. "It's perfect," he said, pulling her close. She reached her arms around his neck as their lips came together, crushing the breath from their bodies. His hands ran down her back and beneath her hemline, and in a swift move her knickers were gone. Charlie pulled his t-shirt off and felt his smooth, hot skin under her fingertips. Placing her palm flat against it, she felt his heart beating in perfect time with hers. Before long they were naked and entwined. He lifted her up and, balancing her against the wall, thrust inside. Biting down on her lip to stop her screams, they came together, quietly. Mitch just had enough strength to carry her to the bed as they lay down. Leaning up on her elbow, Charlie looked down into Mitchell's green eyes and sighed. "Perfect," she murmured. "I needed that." "Yeah," he replied, pulling her down for another kiss. "I'm enjoying this new dance," she said, giggling. "No, it won't quite be like this, I'm afraid," he laughed. They let the song finish this time and lay in silence. As the moonlight bathed their bodies in its silver sheen, they whispered together about the weekend to come and their plans for the summer. Charlie didn't hesitate as he moved back on top of her, the pair making lazy love before sleep claimed them. I woke up at the usual time and crept downstairs for some breakfast, shocked to find Charlie and Mitch were up and the coffee machine already on. "Mitch is doing scrambled eggs for us. Do you want some, Mum?" she asked. "Oh, thanks, guys, that would be great. Can I help at all?" My daughter passed me a mug of coffee. "It's okay, thanks. We've got everything under control," Mitch replied, whisk in hand. Charlie was loading the toaster. Before I sat down, I put the radio on and poured everyone a glass of orange juice. "What time are you off?" I asked. "Oh, probably about 10 by the time I've got my bag packed," Charlie said. "OK, just drop me a text and let me know you've arrived safely," I asked. Saying goodbye to the two of them as I left for work, I watched Charlie standing and waving to me on the doorstep. "See you on Sunday night," she called. "Have fun," I replied as I pulled out of the driveway. The sun had returned, so I enjoyed the pleasant drive into Hereford. Parking up, I made the short walk across the old bridge, blinded by the sparkle of the sun as it glinted on the river. It was going to be a busy weekend of work, preparing for the following weekend. Pausing as I came to the cathedral, I pulled my phone out and snapped a picture, sending it off to James. "Morning, James. Remember the day when we stood at the top of the cathedral and looked out across the city? Just heading into work. Text me when you can and I'll play you a song." Pushing open the door of the studio, I was amazed to see a hive of activity in what was normally a quiet office. The sales team were in and deep in discussion on various phones, trying to fill up the last few spaces of advertising that were left. Mark was in with the large paper plans unfolded on the desk, having a look at the technical side of things, ready for our ground level meeting tomorrow. "Hi all," I said, brandishing a box of biscuits. "Hi Steph," Mark said. "Can't believe this event is only 8 days away now." "Yeah, I know, it's pretty big and scary if you think about it." My phone beeped in my bag, so I pulled it out to read the messages. The first was from Charlie, saying they were just leaving for Warwick. The second was from James. "Just woken up to your text. Yes, I remember that day. I'm off to turn my radio on, so just play me a song and surprise me with the choice." I giggled and replied to both as I poured a coffee and walked back through, ready for the handover from Paul. "So what's happened to your secret admirer? He's been noticeably absent this week," Paul said. "Who knows? Perhaps he's got cold feet about meeting me next weekend." "You don't look that upset about it." "I'm not really, Paul. I have other things on my mind at the moment." I slipped into the studio and started my show with some Rick Astley. Then, as I dealt with the other requests coming in, I tried to decide which song I should dedicate to James. In the end, I plumped for some Madness and played House of Fun, with the message saying I hoped that he still enjoyed listening and dancing to them. As the song played, I fell back in the chair and read the message that had just come through on my phone. "Yes, good choice, and yes is the answer to your question. I tried to teach Mitch the dance, but for some reason he laughed at me." I replied, "I wonder why. Anyway, they left for Ross about an hour ago, so should be with you soon. Look after my baby for me." James replied, "Will do." I smiled and looked into the office, seeing all the guys staring at me and the smile that was lighting up my face. I realised I'd never looked this happy. Giggling, I stuck my tongue out at them all and went back to work. Once home, I gave Sarah a call to see if she wanted to come over for tea, but instead I ended up getting showered and changed to visit her and Chris for the evening. I walked the short distance to Sarah's place and pushed open the back door. "Hey, where are you?" I shouted. "Oh, down in a minute," Sarah replied from upstairs as I heard the shower click off. I spotted some wine glasses on the table, so I opened the fridge and poured one. Chris was the first to appear. "Hi, Steph. See you helped yourself," he said, opening the fridge and grabbing a cold beer. "She'll be down in a second. We weren't expecting you here so quickly." "Ah, hi, Steph," Sarah said, hurrying into the kitchen, her hair still wet. "Hope I didn't disturb anything." I grinned, seeing her cheeks colour slightly as she poured her wine. "So, how are things going?" she asked, sitting down. "Oh, good, thanks. Loads of work to do tomorrow, ready for next Saturday." "I can't believe you managed to get Rick Astley here." "No, neither can I." "Oh, please spare me," Chris said. "Can I go home when he comes on, as I don't think I want to watch the two of you drooling over him." "I only have eyes for you, honey," Sarah said, reaching over and giving his hand a squeeze. "James had better watch out if Rick is his competition," Chris joked. "So, how is all that going?" Sarah asked. As if realising this was his cue to leave, Chris stood up and grabbed his jacket and wallet. "I'll get the food then. Guessing you want the usual?" he asked us both. We nodded and watched him go. "God, Sarah, I've been thinking about it ever since we got back from London, and I'm still not sure what to do," I said, taking a sip of the cold, crisp white. "Well, only you can decide," Sarah said. "Charlie's growing up now, and "You're not getting any younger," she joked. I laughed at her comment. "Yes, I know, but every time I was with him at the weekend, I felt like I was 16 all over again," I sighed. A mix of emotions that are tangled together into my past and the years I've tried to forget. "Guessing you told James everything," Sarah said, glancing down at my wrists. "Yes, I showed him the scars and he broke down in front of me," I replied. For a couple of seconds we were both silent, locked in our own personal memories of that New Year's Eve. "What about Mystery Man?" Sarah asked, changing the subject. "Well, I've been back at work since Tuesday and not a single request. Perhaps he's backing out." "That's a shame, as I was getting the feeling that you kind of liked his taste in music." Maybe," I replied. On his return, Chris found us both on the second bottle of wine, the table set and plates warming in the oven. It was lovely to spend the evening with them, and at least I wasn't at home alone with my muddled thoughts. Sarah had hit the nail on the head. It was my decision to make, and I had just over a week to decide. The walk home helped sober me up as the moon and streetlights lit the way. Getting in, I put some music on and grabbed my phone, dialing the number. I couldn't believe that after all the time that had passed, I still remembered it by heart. Rang a couple of times, and then a slightly deeper voice answered. "Hi there, can I speak to James?" I asked. "Sure, I'll get him for you," he said, as I heard him shouting, "Dad, phone for you," followed by, "Thanks, Darren." "Hi," James said. "It's me." "Hi, Steph, so nice to hear your voice." I sank back against the sofa cushions and savoured the sound that could instantly get my heart racing. "So how was work?" I asked. "Oh, fairly busy. Loved the song you played today. It brought back so many good memories." I paused, realising it was so true. A single song could make your heart race, tears fall, or just plain laughter over a precious moment in time. Music could be your best friend or your worst enemy, and it had played such a huge part in my life. "You still there?" "Oh, sorry, must have drifted off," I apologised. "Think I drank too much wine with Sarah and Chris." I giggled. I might have to eat some sweets to help sober me up again. "You liked them then?" "Oh, of course I did." "You still know me," I replied. "Better than you think?" "So, what have you got planned for the weekend then?" I asked. "Well, if you're free tomorrow, I could always drive down and we could spend some time together," James asked, sounding cautious. Unfortunately, due to the event next Saturday, I have a busy day tomorrow, on site with the crews, providing the stage, lights and sound, so they know what they're doing on Wednesday when the structure goes up." "Oh, no problem," James replied. "It was just a thought." From the tone of his voice I sensed his disappointment, but in a way I was still not sure I was quite ready to spend the whole day with him. "I'll see you next Saturday anyway, well, for parts of it, as I'll be presenting different sections of the show," I replied. "I'm sorry for trying to rush you into making a decision about us. I just don't want to waste any more of my life being alone," he said. Listening to his plea down the phone, I could feel my numb heart waking up again. The torn and jagged edges that he'd pulled apart slowly started to heal. Would it be so difficult to love him again, for my heart to be returned to its rightful place, beating in time with him? We promised to keep in touch over the weekend, as James was keen to hear about all the plans for the event. As I wandered upstairs, I stopped and gazed at the pictures in the hallway of Mark. If I took James back into my life, would I need to remove these from sight? I knew that if there was any sign of that bitch still at his place, then it would have to be removed. Or would that seem unreasonable? Did his son still see her on family occasions? All these questions spun around my head. I wonder what's going to happen next. And you'll have to pop back this time next week. So don't forget, if you want to read ahead, I know there's now only 9 chapters left, but you can grab your copy of the book from Amazon. It's only 99p or 99 cents. And yeah, I'm going out now for dinner, so I'll see you later. Take care and bye for now.